Welcome to the Healthy Vibes podcast. I'm Kelly Renato, a mom of two with a passion for helping you live well and have the courage to show up for yourself and your family. My goal each week is to give you a quick dose of courage and empower you to pause more, slow down, and not feel pressured or distracted by this world, and to remember that you always have a choice. I'm so grateful you're here. Let's get started. Hey there. Welcome to the Healthy Vibes podcast. I'm Kelly Renato, and I thank you for being here with me today for a quick bit of encouragement. Every message I give on this podcast is really just, I'm trying to be short, give you simple tips that you can think about right now, different ways to think about things, and not take too much time out of your day. So today, I just want to talk about humility, and I've talked about this before, but I've been thinking about it a lot lately. I think there's a lot of things in life that we think we are humble, or it's not always about bragging and pride and gloating about something. It is about that, but it's also about other things. I find sometimes if you're having a struggle in a relationship or the petty arguments that maybe we get into, just not finding time to take care of yourself or even growing and bettering yourself, a lot of this to me comes to humility, because sometimes we're just too stubborn to be open to the possibilities. And I see it often, and I've been this person often. And sometimes I still see where it gets in the way and I get distracted, and it's a petty conversation, or like I said, it turns argument, disagreement, or sometimes it is just being open to a new idea to better myself or grow or help maybe yourself in business or learning, or even when it comes to your health. I see this a lot with people who have excuses, or they have their own answer for everything, or don't want to believe what could help them, or something simple could help them. We just get really stubborn in our ways, or we get stuck on wanting to be right in something. And sometimes it's so stupid and petty, but we're still arguing about which way is the quickest, today with directions, or how someone puts the dishes away, or that whatever is distracting you, but you don't like to be called out on it. You see that a lot these days with phones. I think it's funny because we as parents, try to get our kids not to spend so much time on the phone, but I see my own kids call us out or other adults out, but our pride gets in the way because we think, well, we're the parent. We're not being distracted by our phone, and we are, like you see it. So I want this week you to really think, what area of your life could humility help you? Where could you choose a different perspective, or be a little more open, or let your pride get out of the way, or being right get out of the way, and maybe connect in a relationship better. Or you see this a lot in marriage. I think when you're married for a while, it's easy to think, well, I'm right, he's not right. My way's better than his way. Why does he always do it that way? When there's multiple ways to do things, it's really not about who's right and wrong. And how can we better our relationship? Because if you're going to be married, and I speak to myself when I say this, we should want to improve our marriage every day, grow our marriage, or any relationship that you have. This is true with kids too. I see this as our kids get older. I see it a lot, especially teens going into adulthood, because you've always parented them. And I really think our job as parents shifts as they get older. Yes, we're still parents. Yes, we should still guide them, love them, give them advice, maybe just some opinions on how to do it if they ask. But I don't believe we always tell them what to do, because they have to start learning how to make choices themselves, and it might not always be the right one. And it's probably not going to be the same one we would have made, but we have to let them find their way. And I think as parents, we feel like we have to control that and tell them how to do this or how to do that. And sometimes it's the smallest things that we're telling them how to do when we need to let them be. And it could be cleaning their room, mowing the lawn, vacuuming the house, doing their laundry. They got to find their way. It's good to give guidance and help, but at some time with a parent, as a parent, we have to let a kid do the thing their way. And I think we as parents, we think we know better because we've been here longer. And maybe we do and maybe we don't. But either way, a lot of times we just become very stubborn. And I think we get very caught up in our opinion and telling them what to do. So I want you to see humility this week in a different way. Where could you have more patience? Maybe a little more kindness, a little more grace. Maybe you need to listen more. I think a lot of us, talk a lot. When we're listening to someone else talk, we can't wait to tell them what we think rather than just listening. We don't actually have to give our opinion on everything. Sometimes it's okay for someone just to tell us what's going on in their life, and we just listen. Because I believe we a lot of times just think they must want to hear our opinion. They must want to hear what we think, because I really know a lot about this subject and I know better than they do. And I think it's easy to do. But when you look at it as not just humility or the absence of being overconfident, because you want to be confident, but you don't brag, of course. We don't gloat. We don't rub it in other people's faces. But I think humility, I want you to look at it even different this way. Are you not working out because you're distracted or you're just not making time, and maybe your friend, your spouse, your trainer, whoever is trying to tell you, you could find some time if you eliminate that, and you're like, no, you just don't understand. It's that type where maybe you should listen and realize that, yes, I'm not spending my time in the right place. I'm not prioritizing. And if I would stop being so stubborn and not wanting to hear, I could find 20 minutes and start walking 3 times a week. Sometimes I think, again, like I said, it's a relationship. If you have a relationship right now where you feel like you're constantly battling each other, could you possibly pause and this week try to listen more? Try to let them, talk through what they're thinking more rather than constantly going at it. I think if you think about it, you might be able to shift your perspective in some ways in your life. Is there something distracting you? And you know it's distracting you. You know it's a bad choice, but you're just too stubborn to let it go. I think sometimes if you find yourself constantly make excuses, constantly blaming someone else in your house for something, constantly thinking whatever's going on is their fault, not yours. They keep interrupting you. It's not that you're distracted, or think about it. There's 2 sides. And a lot of times, especially with teenagers, kids, we have to try and see their side. They're in a whole new place of life than we are. And we have to be a little empathetic with all of the stress and the things they're feeling in the world and help guide them through it. A lot of us are just doing the best we can, and we have to be patient with each other. So I want you to look this week, where in your life could you have a little more humility? In a relationship, with yourself, maybe even with just trying to open your mind to new ideas, open your mind to how you could grow your business, open your mind to how you could start taking better care of your health when you're not. The Bible talks about humility in so many verses, and you can look it up. There's one verse that I've always liked. It talks about when pride comes, then comes disgrace. With humility comes wisdom. Proverbs 11:2. And I've thought about that verse so much because I feel like with all that I described here, you do become so much more wise when you stop trying to be right all the time. Stop trying to talk over someone. Stop always giving your opinion, always arguing about things with people, always blaming other people rather than seeing how could I own this. Always seeing your way rather than their way. Like, how in your life could you help your relationships and your choices with humility? I feel that some of it is so small, the things that maybe we disagree on or we argue about, so petty. And really, to me, it's a choice of humility. Why does it matter so much that I'm arguing about with them? Because most of the time it's better, even if they want to argue, just to let them and walk away. Most arguments are not worth whatever it is. Most disagreements, especially these days, you find people so wanting to give you their opinion on the subject, telling you what they think about the subject, why they're right and you're wrong, why they know better than you, or even why they're making that choice in their life rather than this one. Why are they doing this rather than that? And I think a lot of us need a little more humility, and with humility comes wisdom. When we want to listen, you learn more, you become more wise, you become more mature spiritually when you stop having these small, petty disagreements, or, you can't just pause. When you can pause and not have to respond, not have to react, not have to give your opinion. And I'm speaking to myself when I say this too, because I know that these are things that I've tried to work on more and more and more with relationships, with my kids, with myself. And you really have grown spiritually when you can see where you need more humility in your life. So I hope this just makes you think this week. I hope you find one area of your life where maybe you could use a little more humility, a little more maturity, a place where you could grow more, learn more, become a little more wise, and realize what is most important. It's not usually what we're arguing about. Living for God, living for bigger things, living to serve others, living to make good choices, the simple things in life, all of that to me rises above the petty small talk, the petty arguments, the petty I know better than you. I've been here longer than you. So just a little humility. Where can you have it this week? So I hope this helps. Have the best week. I hope it encourages you. Take care. And I would love to please share this with someone that you think maybe could hear it. You might want to listen. And I'd love to hear from you. Give me a review. Follow along so you get it, the new ones right when they drop. And thanks for spending your time with me today. Take care. Bye-bye.